Today's Martin Luther King Day, 2013. And this morning I listened to 3 different versions of "A Change is Going to Come." And I know that it is, and it has. But some things haven't changed, and I want to talk about those things today. The thing that hasn't changed is the way we treat kids in school and the way we educate children. And the problem with that is the long-term outcome means some children are doomed from the first time they walk into school, and things are not going to get better for them in their lives. Now, there are some kids that are going to fight their way through that and do just fine, but there are many, many children, and it's very unequally distributed, who will not find their way through that. So that's the first thing I want to tell you about. The way we look at children in schools has not changed. No change has come for that, even though we're going to tell you later about some wonderful tools that can make that possible. Jeff Howard is a guy I worked for a while. He's a social psychologist, and he's an amazing spectator of the American scene. He's done his best to change the picture. But let me show you the picture he drew, and I think he's right. Here's the picture. You may have all seen the bell curve, right? Poorly drawn. The bell curve is how we look at children to this day. We separate them out. Almost from the first time they walk into school, they're given a bunch of tests and a bunch of assessments, not really to the purpose of figuring out how to educate them best, but no, how to set the expectation levels and let them know right from the first where they stand. So we have some children who are very smart, VS. These kids are going to get special, sometimes almost secretive reading groups, special reading groups. Or they may get special math groups because they're very smart, and we want to make sure we push them ahead. Then we got kids who are SS, sort of smart. They're average kids. Here in Hingham, we have a special group of classrooms, upper standard once they hit the middle school. But even when they're in kindergarten and first grade, they know where they are. They're sort of smart. Oh, but the bad news, over here we have KD kids. You already know what that means. Kind of dumb. We set that expectation too. Don't expect you're going to do too great. And we'll tell the parents even, well, don't ask too much from this child. Now here's the thing that Jeff and I agree on totally. We have a lot of points of disagreement, but the thing we agree on totally is those expectations determine the long-term outcome. Those children who believe they're very, very smart are going to act like children who are very, very smart. The children who are sort of smart will work pretty hard, but they will also see some things as, oh, that's not for me. That's too hard for me. Kids who are kind of dumb, they are going to do poorly in our school systems. They're going to have behavior problems. They're not going to learn to read very quickly. They may not learn to do math computations very well. In fact, they're really going to be behind in almost every aspect of their lives. And that is going to determine the long-term trajectory for those children. It's a terrible picture and a frightening picture, but it's one that children are facing every day. I've had kindergarten kids tell me where they stand on that spectrum, and it's not a pretty thing. The saddest thing, here we are on Martin Luther King Day. Kids who wind up in this group are our minority kids, our poorest kids. And we're excluding them from the opportunity to ever be good. And not surprisingly, they're not happy. And not surprisingly, most of the children who go to our schools are not happy there either. Instead of being a wonderful and safe place where you learn, where you become better, our schools are a place where you get sorted into these groups and told what you're going to be and what's going to happen to you. All of these things are tragic, and most people just say, yeah, but that's just the way it is. Just how it is, right? But it isn't how it is. We now have tons of research showing that this picture is not at all true. It's a total deception. It's set up by a series of tests that people developed 100 years ago. It's not that they're bad tests, but their original purpose was to find kids who needed extra assistance to excel. Now it's just being used to find kids who we can safely drop out. We really need to go back to a system that allows every kid to excel, and that makes a picture that looks more like that. I got a system that works like that, and it takes that brain plasticity talk and theories and makes it real. So I'm going to talk about that next. Thanks.